homes across the plains of Texas with no power tonight. 3.8 million homes and businesses. And Texas is not alone. Outages compiled tonight by Power Outage USA indicates there's 225,000 outages in Kansas, Missouri, Arkansas, Louisiana, and elsewhere. Mexico's being hit as well. 400,000 houses and businesses have gone dark in Mexico, but 60% of those in Mexico have been restored. And the situation may continue into tomorrow. Dallas is reporting that it will have a 2-degree Fahrenheit read, but could reach a high of 29 by Wednesday. Hey, 29 degrees. But late Thursday, it could drop back into the teens. Those outages are causing major problems across the board. Throughout much of today, I've been detailing a lot of the power grids, whether it's electrical or gas, have been falling down or taken off the circuit because the concern that they would freeze up, and that's causing problems across the board. It's also causing questions from Wall Street, as Wall Street's been looking at surging oil prices amid all this and more. In tonight's recording, have your latest update about stimulus, have your latest update about Wall Street, and your latest update across the board for financial news. Thank you for joining me on LLate. From Wall Street to Main Street, from my home to your home, thank you for joining me on LLate, the most comprehensive business channel there is. Reporting 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I'll next be with you shortly after this recording, again at 7 o'clock on the West Coast, 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, with Purple. In Purple, I'll be going over free rent, free utilities, and more. Also, ways to get more money right now, not 5 days from now, not 5 weeks from now, not 5 months from now. Stay with me on Purple. And then I'm back with you 10 o'clock East Pacific Standard Time with Overnight's LA's hit show, Hazard Pay. If you've not subscribed, make sure you subscribe. Also like this video, and if you've not become a member, consider becoming a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power, or Calcino VIP. Get access to PDFs before anyone else about how you get this stimulus. And boy, the next few days are going to be big because we're going to have the third stimulus package bill, and you're going to want to know how it's separated into respective issues. I'm not just going to regurgitate a bill to you. I'm actually going to break it down for you item by item. You currently have no less than 24 PDFs, I think it's almost, that delineates what's in there, and it's all very, very exciting. Wall Street is trading up significantly high tonight. It's up 255 points in the Dow futures, and the NASDAQ futures are doing equally as well. People can't really figure out what's going on, and one of the big concerns is that there is a ballooning bubble of optimism based upon vaccination rates, but not based upon stimulus or economic numbers. The economic numbers at hand are stimulus and unemployment. And while stimulus has been being towed by that tow truck, the tow truck has yet to get it over the finish line. The vote on your stimulus package is February 22nd in the House, and then it goes over to the Senate. And the unemployment numbers, not good. 6,000 new jobs created in the month of January total in the entire United States, while we're facing about almost 800,000 new jobless claims per month, meaning 800,000 new unemployed people per month. And we're now at 21 million unemployed people in the country, with 40% of them long-term unemployed, the worst number since the Great Recession. We're facing nearly 40% of unemployed people as long-term, or 60%. So the question is, will Wall Street and will the Biden administration sort of grapple with that situation? In recent days, we've always talked about that the stimulus package is not big enough because of the vaccine, because of the variants of the virus. It's the variants of the virus that are impacting the stimulus. At the moment, it looks like the loss of job creation and the loss of businesses is really what's at issue. And this should not be surprising to you. Marco Rubio over the weekend slammed the $35,000 stimulus check, which I've detailed on this channel, for the obvious reason, which he said, giving people money does not lift them out of poverty. If it was so easy, we would have done a long time ago. What is his concept? His concept is that, hey, here's a big check. You're not poor tomorrow. Well, guess what? According to Marco Rubio, they'll be poor 4 weeks from then because they don't have a job. Once that money's used up, they go back into the poverty level. It's a very obvious contention, and ironically, there's no solution for it in the Biden administration. Biden administration has talked about an infrastructure bill, but that bill is not now. We have not even seen the bill. The infrastructure bill is to create jobs. Now, here's what's strange about the situation for stimulus. You have stimulus here, and you have stimulus checks, and then you have jobs created by a bill over here, which we've not seen. Well, you don't need stimulus checks if you got a job. Well, the thing to give you the job hasn't been created yet. We haven't seen the bill that gives you jobs. And so, hence, the question is, if you wanted the stimulus checks to sort of phase out at a certain point, then you would have gotten that job bill going right away. I don't particularly understand why the job bill didn't start on day one. The job bill is different than the stimulus package. It's to create jobs. And if you're home and you're watching this video, or God forbid you're homeless and you're watching this video with a Wi-Fi connection, then you would love a job. You would love a job that would pay you money and put a roof over your head. So why is that job bill not ready at day one? Why are we taking 2 months to send out stimulus and during those 2 months not working on a job bill? The job bill could be done at the same time. Instead, the Biden administration has ridiculously, and I can't express this in a more opinionated manner than I am, spent too much time on the climate. Climate, 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 climate. If I can see it, and if I've heard way too much about climate in the first 100 days of this administration, and I've heard zero about job creation, I've seen zero about making jobs, I've heard zero about putting people back to work, and I've heard a lot about the climate. I've heard a new czar is being appointed at the Treasury to oversee climate. I've seen executive orders about climate. How about executive orders to create jobs? Jobs are what lifts people out of unemployment. And so as we sit here today and we talk about the $1,400 stimulus check, it's not sufficient. It should be $2,000 plus $1,400. Now, if there was more to that stimulus check, like $2,000 and $1,400, you would be in a different position, but it's not. And $3,200 for adult dependents, but it's not. The big recipients of stimulus checks, people who are not unemployed. This is what's really weird. The people who are getting the brunt of the assistance in the third stimulus package are not people who were employed before the pandemic started. Who are they? Children. A family of 7 could get $35,000 in stimulus, and that's with $5,000 for every child 5 years to newborn. Yes, $5,000 to newborn. It's great news for them, but it's not great news for the parent who's only going to get $1,400. That is $3,600 for the child and $1,400 for the child, and then if the child's 17 to 6, $3,000. Now, of course, the number of $1,400 stimulus checks may be limited by the bill, but the $3,600 and $3,000 are not limited. Well, how about the person who did work during the pandemic? The essential worker who got $1,400. Excuse me, who worked at the grocery store but did not make over $25,000. He qualifies for $1,500 earned income tax credit under the Biden administration plan. Good. But when is he getting it? Next year. Why is it getting next year? He needs that money now. Imagine if your entire livelihood is $25,000 and you got $1,500 plus $1,400 now. Wow, $2,900. That's a lot of money. $3,000 as a stimulus check for someone right now, that would help that person a lot for a bit. This would be huge, but it's not being done that way. And it's with that sort of confusion that things are percolating. Dennis DeBouche, strategist at Evermore ISS, said in an email today obtained by LL8 that we're looking at the path towards economic normalization. It's clear as more vaccines, reduce hospitalizations, and eliminate fatalities are improved. No, that's actually untrue. Vaccination rates will increase from 10% to 75% in this country between now and July. Okay. Well, how about unemployment numbers? Will unemployment improve from 10 to 70% between now and July? No, absolutely not. What will they improve by? Well, they may not improve at all. That's the concern. That ultimately we do not see the path towards economic normalization. We may see the path towards business operation normalizations, meaning you can open your door, you can have people come inside, you can run a business inside because people are vaccinated, but it doesn't mean that it's economic normalization. Why? Very simple. 500,000 businesses are gone because of the pandemic. 500,000 businesses are gone in the month of January. Hey, Alma, thank you for the massive dancing pair. I really appreciate it. That's a big one. Thank you for the massive dancing pair. You need 500,000 businesses are gone. If there are 500,000 businesses gone, where are those jobs going to come from? This last week on Thursday, 800,000 new people looked for a job and couldn't find it, so they were newly unemployed. What did they have available to them? A total of 6,000 new jobs created in this country in the month of January in the United States. 6,000 jobs available for 800,000 people. Well, guess what happens this Thursday? There'll be another 800,000 new people who are unemployed, newly unemployed, for 6,000 new jobs. There's not enough job creation. And currently, the big concern is that there's 20 million unemployed people in the country, of which 40% are long-term unemployed, meaning 6 months, meaning since the pandemic started. And that's the worst number since the Great Recession. If you don't have jobs for them, you need stimulus for them. They have no money to pay for their rent, their utilities, their food, their mortgage. They have no money. They need stimulus checks. And hopefully the reality will set into the Biden administration in the next few days as they understand that perhaps the stimulus package was too small, that perhaps the stimulus package was written at a time of optimism, that the U.S. economy was turning the corner, that January was rebounding. It didn't. It didn't. And it's not his to blame. It's just the way it is. Tomorrow, CVS Health, Occidental Petroleum will report earnings. CVS Health is one to watch. I just butchered that. CVS Health will be one to watch because we will see how much money retail is making from the vaccine, at least for people in the store because of the vaccine. On Thursday, executives from Robinhood, Melvin Capital, and Citadel will testify before a Senate House committee. The concern across the board is where is the stimulus going? And the issue is, will the administration make a pivot? You need to make a pivot when things just don't particularly go right. And this is what Biden said just a few days ago. Only 6,000 private sector jobs were created in January. At that rate, it's going to take 10 years before we get to full employment. That's not hyperbole. Well, is there a pivot underway? There should be a pivot underway because the current plan is not working. And if the current plan is not working, then you need more stimulus. $1,200 stimulus check doesn't really cut it if that's where you're leaving people for a while. In Europe, the numbers were absolutely deplorable on Friday, showing that the UK economy fell 10% in 2020, its largest fall since modern records were created. Can you imagine? The British economy fell 10% in 2020, the worst since it's ever created. And while Wall Street has your mind and said, hey, Charles, thank you for the massive dancing bear. Ultimately, I'm always worried about distractions. And in recent days, a lot of distractions has been the impeachment and now Bitcoin. Miami Mayor Francis Suarez got a lot of publicity for himself over the weekend because his city is trying to become a crypto-forward city of Miami. That's congratulations. But a lot of that's getting press coverage. I don't think it should get press coverage because what we should be focusing on now is getting people back to normal. And that's amid news that MasterCard last week said they will support cryptocurrency in its network to create a lot more possibilities for shoppers and merchants. Jerome Powell says that the situation, despite the speed of a recovery early on, we're still very far from a strong labor market whose benefits are strongly shared. And what's also not strongly shared is accuracy in reporting. What also is not strongly shared is accuracy in reporting, and that inaccuracy has stemmed across the board with SSI, SSDI, Social Security, and railroad benefits. A series of reports were out today, and I looked some more at some of them after afternoon's LA, and boy, the SSI and SSDI, Social Security and railroad benefit coverage out there is just laughable. Let me explain the following to you. In March of last year, Elizabeth Warren wrote an SSI SSDI bill introduced to the Senate when the Senate was controlled by the Republicans. Chuck Schumer liked it, she liked it. It never went anywhere. It was dead. The bill's dead. The bill's gone. It's on the waste. It's on the side of the road. It's dead. Well, and then in December, Joe Biden, in his transition papers, wrote about SSI, SSDI, Social Security, and railroad benefits. He wrote about the $200 that goes on top of your existing benefits as he proposed. He wrote about the lifetime increase of 20%. He wrote about the new benchmark of CPIE, so your benefits would raise more than COLA every year. That's what he said. Well, that was it. Since then, the president has been silent on the subject of SSI, SSDI, Social Security, and railroad benefits. I've said it enough times that I think it's made very clear. The update on the subject matter is there is no update. There is literally nothing happening. And what I've been trying to impart to viewers is that if you see a bill that was written in 2020, the bill is irrelevant. I saw today no less than two people trying to show people on SSI and SSDI a bill from 2020 from Elizabeth Warren from March of 2020 when the pandemic started and said, hey, here's a bill, get excited about it. Thank you, Susan, for the dancing bear. Here's a bill from March of 2020. Get excited about it. First of all, I think if you're if you're good with dates, why would you get excited about something over a year ago? Then I think the next reaction would be, well, what happened since March of 2020? One of the people tried to say the date very quickly, so hopefully you wouldn't see the date. But the most obvious thing that you should know, if you don't know already, that I want to inform you about in this video, is that if you introduce a bill in a session of Congress and the session of Congress ends, the bill's dead. The bill's dead. If you introduce a bill this year and it doesn't get called for a vote, or it does get called for a vote and it doesn't get approved, it's dead. So it's like me saying go down to the street corner and go look at that new 1972 Olds Cutlass that's in the showroom window. You're going to say to me, LLA, there are no more Oldsmobile showrooms. Well, the answer is there was one in 1972. Go down there and look at it. It's sort of ridiculous to cite something from a year that passed over something that no longer exists. Within 18 minutes are on the clock. Let me give the big update where we are at 600 minutes at 18 minutes. And thank you, Angelica, for the dancing pair. I really appreciate it. The big update as you join me tonight is that the cold freeze across the Midwest is absolutely killing everything. No less than 4 million people are out of power in Texas and 500,000 in neighboring states. The concern is that this number could get improved in a few days, for a day or two, but then get worse again as numbers are expected to drop on Thursday. The surges are impacting not only electrical but also heating and gas. I've certainly seen as well. I've gotten DMs from viewers of this channel who are in Texas. There's a lot of viewers on this channel who are from Texas. And the snow has taken such a toll that a lot of the electrical companies have taken their instruments off of grid. Tomorrow, as early as tomorrow, we could see the third stimulus package bill. But in there will not be SSI and SSDI. And while there is absolutely zero updates about SSI, SSDI, Social Security, and railroad benefits since December, when it was last sent by the president, it seems as though some people think it's inventive to show you literature from March of last year. Why? Bills that were introduced in March of last year are dead. They're dead. meaning they're dead, meaning they're in the coffin, meaning they're in the cemetery. They're in the cemetery of bills gone dead. You cannot bring a bill back to life from March of last year. Now, you can write a new bill and introduce a brand new bill, but it seems as though some people think it's inventive to tell people on SSI and SSDI, hey, just in, there's brand new news about SSI and SSDI because let me show you what happened last year. No, there's nothing just in. Just in, a bill from last year. No, the bill was just in last year. It's not just in this year. It's actually not even just in for the last 6 months. The bill is dead. And now, ultimately, you could push for SSI and SSDI, but that's not going to happen. The modifications to SSI and SSDI is not going to happen in the House. It can happen in the Senate. It can happen in two ways. You can push to have Elizabeth Warren introduce a new bill into the Senate. She introduced a new bill 2 weeks ago for $50,000 student loan debt forgiveness. Or Purple Power, you can go on social media and push her to get it into the third stimulus package bill. But ultimately, you can't push a 2020 bill that's dead to come back to life. That just doesn't work that way. Let me go over in this video the money that you can get as individuals in the third stimulus package. If you are a person who is non-employed or retiree, you can get the stimulus check, $1,400, rent, food, and also childcare and internet. If you are a person who is employed is now unemployed, you can also get PUAUI or FPU and FPUC on top of that. If you are an essential worker and made less than $25,000, you can get $1,500 plus $1,400, so $2,900 in stimulus checks as a hazard pay worker who made less than $25,000. If you're a hazard pay worker who made more than $25,000, then you're looking for the big hazard pay of the third stimulus package. Next, if you are a business owner, you can get EIDL grant, you can get the restaurant grant, that's you can get the venue grant, that's you, and you can also get PPP. And there may be more surprises. Ultimately, we've seen a lot of surprises from this Congress. And what I want you to take away in tonight's video is that this is not a time or place to be lax about the situation. Ultimately, if you want an EIDL loan, go get an EIDL loan today. If you want to do escalated unemployment, so you can get that money in 2 days. You can get EIDL loan money in 2 days. If you want rent or utilities or food, you can get that money in 24, 48 hours in some cases. So that's the big surprises. First, SBA, how to get an EIDL loan. You go to sba.gov and you fill out the long stream application, the streamline application. Now understand the grant is not live currently, but will be going live. But this sets you up for the grant when it does go live. The loan is absolutely great. It does not have to be paid back in the first year. It is interest and principal free for the first year, and then after that, amortized over 30 years. Again, that's sba.gov, and tonight at 1 a.m. Pacific Standard Time is brought back into the mix the EIDL grant and the EIDL loan to explain for you how to get that money. It's always better to have the money than not have the money. It's based upon a Schedule C or a tax return filed by you for your corporation. You want to look at your gross revenue, cost of goods sold, which are line 1 and line 2 of that tax return. Next, enhance unemployment benefits and escalate benefits. Yes, that's money coming from the state. It has nothing to do with the federal government, and you can get that money right now. How do you get it? Basically, if you're currently on unemployment or were on unemployment anytime in the last year or this year, you can get it if you made over $18,000 2019 earnings. How do you do it? You pull your 2019 tax return, get it on your computer, then write a cover letter. Say, hi, unemployment office, here I am. Here I am. I want to see if I qualify for more weekly benefits. That's only words you use, more weekly benefits. You don't say escalate benefits because that's language that you and I use. You send them a copy of your tax return, and you say, hey, I want to see if I qualify for more weekly benefits. Well, I can answer the question for you right now, what you're going to get. First of all, before you send it off, look up your state's maximum minimum unemployment benefits. Some states go up to $500 a month, excuse me, $500 a week. You may be only getting $99 a week. So you certainly want to know how high and low this goes. If you made $18,000 to $25,000 2019 earnings and have been unemployed for about 20 weeks, you'll be able to raise your benefits about $50, which will be about $1,500. If you've been unemployed for 20 weeks and you made 18 to 25,000, excuse me, 25 to $30,000 2019, you'll be able to raise your benefit about $100 a week, which is about $3,000. And finally, if you've been unemployed since the pandemic and you made over $30,000 in 2019, you'll be able to raise your benefits about $300 a week, which will be about $9,000 in stimulus. I've had several viewers get $9, $10, $12,000 on escalated benefits for tax returns that they made over $30,000. They made 31, they got made 35, they made $40,000. You need to do that because ultimately this is a lot of money that comes to you. It has nothing to do with the federal government and comes quickly and fast. With 26 minutes on the clock, hey Debbie, thank you for the super chat. Let me answer some incredible questions and comments you have on the screen tonight. If you have any questions about unemployment, any questions about the stimulus check or SSI or SSDI, or any questions about procedurally what's happening in Congress, drop them on the screen and I'll be happy to help you. I'm next live shortly after this recording, about 5 minutes. Give the SBA your email address for updates. Alicia, what do you think of the impression? I guess you're talking of yourself. Uh, I'm next live in about 5 minutes from now with the continuation of Eden's LA, going over rent and utilities and business and FPUC. If you have any questions for now, drop them on the screen as well. What's going on with the $1,400 stimulus? $1,400 for individuals, $2,800 from dependents, excuse me, $2,800 from a couple, $1,400 for adult and minor dependents. That is what's going to be coming. Are they going to put a check? Are we going to get a check soon? You are going to get a check soon. Good evening. Hi, good evening. How are you, Chevelle? Very kind. How are you? I received an increase on my SNAP. Congratulations, Donna. Very good. If you need SNAP benefits, reach out to 211 or Department of Agriculture. How many stimuluses this year, says Susie? That's a great question. Of course, it's certainly my opinion, but based upon how these people operate, I would expect another one at least, but maybe two more. Ultimately, I would hope that the next one is done between now and about June. If the next one is not done between now and August, I fear for the worst because that sort of sounds like trying to drag it out. Any other questions you have? Will owing taxes affect stimulus? No. Back taxes cannot be taken out for stimulus checks. Student loan debt forgiveness. Yeah, it's me, says Alicia. Hey, Cardi B, thank you for the tea. What about people that didn't take early retirement and had the taxes on it split for 3 years? I don't understand that question. I'm sorry. I don't understand what that means. What about people that did early? Oh, there's a question again. When will you receive the $1,400? I have no idea the date you're going to receive it, and that's one of the things I promise I will never cover on this channel again. Is the date you're physically going to get money? Because the second stimulus check, some people got it within 24 hours. Some people got 2 months later. Does the PDF for stimulus check say that it's a rebate? It is not a rebate. It's not law yet, says Melissa. Correct. It's not law yet. Did you say the credit for the kids, $3,000 who are on SSI, can claim it? Brenda. Okay, so let me answer. That's a great question from Brenda. So Brenda's asking, how do parents get the $3,600 or $3,000 of the child tax credit under the Biden plan, the bill. We know it's confirmed that you will get $3,600 for a child age 5 to newborn, and $3,000 from 17 to 6. Can't figure out how to get the rent out. Said to be evicted from courthouse. Get that rent. Um, Oh, Eric Effa, thank you for the super chat. So go to the description of this video and reach out to the volunteers. They're at news.lla.com/community. They'll help you with any eviction questions, and also they'll help you with the rent. Let me cut back to that question about how do people on SSI get the money for the kids. So the important thing to know is the IRS needs to know if you have this kid. So you need to think it back in your head. Does the IRS know that I have this kid? Have you done anything to indicate to the IRS that this kid exists? Did you do a non-file filing for the first stimulus package in early 2020? Has this child ever appeared anywhere on someone's tax return? You did do a non-filer filing in 2020. Well, that's good. So if you did a non-filer filing in 2020 for the kid, you may not have to do anything. That ultimately is my biggest concern, is the IRS does not know about the kid, whether you're on benefits or not on benefits. I use the example also, someone gave birth during this video. Someone gives birth during this video. IRS doesn't know you gave birth. So how do you get a stimulus check for someone they don't know you gave birth about? But yeah, if you did a non-filer filing in 2020 or in 2021, I think you're in good situation. Someone else asked a good question. Like, my child received it automatically in 2020, so it would be automatically again for the 3,000. So Sandy, if your child received the stimulus check in 2020, if you received a stimulus check for your child in 2020, you are in good place. You don't have to do much of anything because they know the child exists and they paid based upon that child again. So you're in good situation. Do you think it'll be law by March 15th? Yes. Is it true that one of the Democrats will reject the bill, will have to wait again? It is untrue. It is untrue. This is how it works. The bill lands there on the Senate on, let's say, a particular day. Let's say it's a Monday. It arrives there. It's not, it arrives in the Senate on Monday. It doesn't mean it's stamped on Monday and it just, poof, the check goes out on Monday. It's never that way. There's always a point in which it lands there, and then it's called for a vote or not called for a vote. In 2020, it would land there, and then Mitch would throw in the garbage can, so it would never get called for a vote, and it would be done. It was dead. Now that it's landing in the Senate, it lands there, bam. Then Chuck Schumer calls it for a vote. Chuck calls it for a vote, and so someone says, "No, I vote against her." You vote against her? Why are you voting? Well, because I don't like this thing. Well, at that point, then they argue and they debate and they say, and then someone goes on, MSNBC, and someone goes on Fox, and someone goes on CNN, and then I don't like this, I do like this, I don't like this, I don't like, and they get the press for themselves, and then they're like, okay, whatever, I'll agree to you about this, and then it's done, and then they make an agreement, and then it's done. So it is not. People have thought that this is somehow going to stretch things out and delay it. No, no, no. Student loan debt forgiveness. Alicia, great question. So that's a standalone bill. It's in the Senate, and it has its own tracking. So it was introduced by Chuck Schumer, which is good. If I missed someone else's comment while I was talking there, drop a question, drop on the screen, I'll answer as well. 800 people in the room and 400 likes. Let's get it to 1,000 and 500. Let's get it to 1,000 in the room and 500 likes. Is Nancy too busy questioning the variance? Will the bill be delayed a few months? No. The bill actually has a provision in it that has to be called for a vote by February 22nd. The bill actually expires. She's not going to have this bill expired. She will literally have her, no. Joe is not going to let Nancy expire his own bill. That's not going to happen. Tax return for SSI, I did not file last year. I understand the question. You did file a tax return? Um, I'm glad that student loans will be forgiven, but I wish they would hurry up on the stimulus bill. Well, the stimulus bill is tracking first. That's a great comment. I think it was, who was it, Stephanie, or I couldn't see who it was. The stimulus bill is tracking first. The student loan debt forgiveness bill has been introduced, but it has not been called for a vote. How about claiming your kid every other year with your ex? What? So you rotate who claims the kid on the tax return? I didn't know you could do something like that. That sounds really strange. I have no comment about that one. That one's a new one on me. You switch who claims the dependent on tax returns year to year? Uh, I don't know. Maybe you could do that. I've never heard of that. My mom is on SSI. My depend on my taxes. Will her stimulus check be deposited into her bank account with her SSI? That's a great question. I've gotten that question since this channel started, and the answer is it should go to you, but be on high alert that it goes somewhere else. This is what I recommend. One, watch your bank account. Two, watch her bank account. Three, watch your mailbox, your actual mailbox on the street corner. And four, watch her mailbox. You learn from the second stimulus package that things just went everywhere. People got things in places that didn't belong there, but they got it. And I think that a lot of people got it and threw it away because they didn't know what it was. And so my advice is, as soon as things start heading out, watch for them. Is hazard pay MSC like child credit? No. The hazard pay would be paid in a lump sum, but we haven't seen it yet. I'm not feeling the love today, people, says Tina. People give Tina some love. Yes, filed non-filed last year. This year, SSI. Oh, good, 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 good. So that's good. When IRS knows where you are, that is the best. I'm not sure Uber and Lyft tracks hours worked for us in determination hazard pay. I know they track miles driven. They do not track hours. And that was a topic I did 1,000 videos about in 2020, that for purpose of hazard pay, it's a real problem for independent contractors who get paid by the gig. It's like a painter. Hey, G. Gerald Holt, thank you for the super chat. I really appreciate it. It's a big problem for someone that gets paid by the gig. If you get paid by the gig, how do we do that for hazard pay? So we filed this year for SSI. Alicia, um, thank you, Matthew, for becoming a part of this family. Everyone, welcome Matthew to becoming a part of this family. Oh wow, we're at 38-minute mark already. Um, Everyone, welcome Matthew for becoming a Purple Hawk. I think it's Purple Hawk. And what a big day it is. With 38 minutes on the clock, let me give you the big updates where we are. This is the first of a double header tonight. I'm next back live with you in just 3 minutes. So if you had more questions and I missed your question, jump into that live feed in just 3 minutes from now. It will be continuation of Evenings LA, and I'll also focus on rent, utilities, and food. I want you to get money right now, not 5 weeks from now, not 5 months from now. And it's more important than ever to get rent money, especially as a pandemic is striving on and fighting on, and there's outages across the country. I'll have more updates about your stimulus additionally, and more updates from Wall Street. As always, if you've not subscribed, make sure you subscribe. Also, like this video. 500 likes and about 860 in the room. Let's see if we can get to 1,000 in the room right after we get off camera, and up to 1,000 likes. Stay informed, stay focused. If you've not become a member, consider becoming a member. The link is at the top of this chat. And I'll see you live in just about 5 minutes after this. Take care.